In this video we are going to take a look at why you just cannot escape Tron at the moment. There has been so much news brought out over the past week. It's been very hard not to hear about Tron in the news. Okay, so that said, let's jump straight in. Hey everyone, it's Fez for Bitcoin for Beginners. Thank you very much for joining me in this video all about Tron. We are going to talk about everything that's been in the news Tron related over the past 7 to 10 days. We have seen big price movements, big announcements and mystery partnerships. So let's get stuck in. But first, I do have to point out this video has been made for entertainment purposes only. My words should not be taken as financial advice, as I am not a financial advisor. Okay, so that said, let's jump straight in. So Tron has been hitting the headlines time and time again over the past week. We're going to go back to October 8th, where we had a huge move. Tron was one of the top gainers in the top 100. It jumped up 16% over 24 hours. One of the main reasons for that is this. This is Justin Sun promising that the new Odyssey 3.1 upgrade will make Tron 200 times faster than the Ethereum network. There is another story that we will go into in a little bit, but this was a big one. This was getting shared everywhere. And as you can see here, we have CoinMarketCap from the 7th to the 9th, and we have a big spike of activity, lots of volume and big price movements, so that was great if you were trading Tron at that point. Okay, we did have this big price move by Tron, but it was followed by a 10% correction, but that's nothing unheard of. This is very normal. For any big price moves, you do expect a correction at some point. Looking at some of the other stories that have been moving the price and that have been shared since the 8th, we have a tweet from Crypto Guy in South Africa that was retweeted by Justin. This is all about a vote being active to launch TVM on the Tron network. TVM is Tron Virtual Machine. For those of you that don't know what a virtual machine is, it is simply a simulated computer or machine that isn't attached physically to its resources. So it can utilize RAM, CPU and run tasks and operating systems, but it's not tied to the computer or server that it is being run on. So you can actually have several virtual machines all running off the same server or the same PC at home, and these are used for like sandbox tests. But where it comes into its own and why it's important for Tron is for developers. They can run their dApps on virtual machines to bug test, and there are loads of other uses that I'm not aware of. On the 9th, Justin then announces the Tron Developer Suite. This is all the tools that developers could possibly need to transfer or develop their apps on the Tron network. It utilizes Solidity, which is Ethereum's programming language, and I think this has been done in an effort to try and get people to migrate from Ethereum network over onto Tron, as well as the fact that it's the Solidity programming language is kind of become a standard, or a go-to for a lot of developers. On the 12th, we have many announcements. Just one of them is the fact that the TVM has been launched and is live on the network. So that was great news, and it's just a continual run of positive news for Tron that is being reflected in their price. Another tweet that came out on the 12th was Justin Sun's typical go-to, which is an announcement of an announcement. He went out and tweeted that there is a partnership that will be announced soon with a tens of billion USD valuation industry giant. So as you can imagine, with such a loosely worded tweet, speculation was rife. There are 3 main contenders in the rumour mill for possible partnerships, and we will take a quick look at them and then we'll go into more depth in a second. The first is Baidu. I think that's how it's pronounced. I am not sure, so if I've got that wrong, I apologise. The second was a tweet that TokenPay put out in reply to Justin's tweet that just simply says Ripple. The third is Alibaba. Most of you would probably know who they are, but they are a huge corporation in China. So we'll take a look at Justin's tweet, which says the partner with tens of billions USD valuation industry giant. Well, Alibaba's market value in January was announced at 500 billion, and as Ethereum World News points out, if this was a partnership, Justin would have surely pushed the hundreds of billion USD valuation, more so than the tens of billions. So maybe these guys are too big for Tron to partner at present. Secondly, we have Baidu, and if we look at their valuation from last year, it's 13 billion, which isn't quite tens. You're looking more 20, 30 to under 100 billion, I would say, to be sort of tied in with that tens of billions. The reason for this rumor is that CoinNest released a tweet saying they have an exclusive, and that a partnership will be announced by Baidu Cloud next week. I'm not certain whether this is true or whether they are just, whether it's false information being leaked out of Tron to generate some hype. As I said, the valuation isn't quite there, in my opinion. Well, that only leaves Ripple. So if again we look at TokenPay's tweet, their explanation is the fact that he refers to an industry giant, as in the cryptocurrency industry or blockchain industry giant. So Bitcoin, there is no legitimate leadership in place for Tron to partner with, so that makes it extremely difficult to partner with Bitcoin. Ethereum, very unlikely, considering Tron is a direct competitor to Ethereum, and in the tens of billion market cap, that only really leaves Ripple behind. Another thing is that Ripple is a currency and it is not Ripple Labs, so you could also tie in Ripple Labs and add extra valuation to Ripple's current market cap of 16 billion, and that could tip it over $20 billion, which would then make it a tens of billions valuation. So for me, I think that Ripple is probably the most likely out of these three suspects. However, I just don't think anybody's hit the nail on the head with this yet. I don't think they're going to partner with Ripple. It kind of goes against the centralized banking financial industry that Ripple is targeting. Tron is integrating BitTorrent into its network. I think there's a big gap between those two companies, so I think we just haven't heard, and I think we will probably be very surprised by what Tron announce in the next couple of weeks. So if I was you, I would at least watch Tron very, very closely, because there has been a lot of price action, and with more of this positive PR coming out, there is sure as hell going to be even more positive price action coming in the future. Okay, that's it. If you have any thoughts or theories about the possible partnerships with Tron, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear them. If you've enjoyed this video and it's been somewhat informative, why not smash that thumbs up, click subscribe, and make sure to hit the bell icon to be notified of our future videos. I've been Fez for Bitcoin for Beginners. Take care.